Yo, what's going on, guys? It's C-Brev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 20 video. In this one, I'm going to be going over the new content for the 7th inning program, going over the henchmen and the bosses for the program, giving my advice and my thoughts on who you should take out of that choice pack. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe for more MLB The Show 20 content. Drop a like on the video, helps me out a ton, and don't forget to follow me on socials there above my head. So as we do with these videos, I'm going to start off by talking about the voucher. Is it worth it? My general advice is that the voucher is almost never worth it. However, with the 6th inning program bosses, I think it's maybe the most worth it's been. Don't get me wrong, I still think the voucher is bad unless you're going to use all 3 cards for the rest of the year pretty much, or if you're going to prestige them because you have to lock them in anyway. The reason I think the voucher is actually pretty good this time is because I feel like Maddox, Rollins, and Musial all could have a place on your roster for the rest of the year. They're all debatably in-game. I know Stan is probably not in-game, but at least he'll be on your bench for the rest of the year. Really good bench bat. Like I said, my general advice, don't do the voucher. If you're rushing to 300 stars, you're probably not going to get there first. What you're paying in opportunity cost with this voucher, which is about 260,000 stubs right now, is not worth what you're going to make by selling the bosses day 1 or 2. In fact, the last couple programs, because so many people have been grinding the bosses day 1, they're actually rising in price day 2 and 3. So you don't even need to really rush because there's so many people on this meta train of doing it day 1. So in general, don't do the voucher, but it may be worth it if they're already locked in for prestiges or if you're going to use literally all 3 cards for the rest of the year. I personally am probably going to have Rollins and Maddox both in my lineup / rotation the rest of the year, and I'm still not doing the voucher because I don't want to sacrifice the 85k it takes to get Stan Musial. Now let's get into the content you guys actually care about, the henchmen and finally the program bosses. Which one should you take? Shout out to Healy on Twitter for posting these pictures from the live stream if you missed it. So these are the henchmen, the cards that you get at 150 stars in the program. They are Prime Sergio Romo, Signature Series Mark Buehrle, and Prime Matt Carpenter, all 92 overall. In general, these cards are going to help with the Mike Trout collection overall. I like that there's 2 Prime cards because Prime cards have actually been rising a bit in price relative to other categories like the award series because there just aren't as many choices for a low cost. So this is going to help with that a lot. As far as usability of cards, I think there's one clear-cut choice here, and it's Sergio Romo. Sergio Romo actually got a 93 overall Signature Series card last year, and he was one of the best pitchers in the game. If you guys don't know, he's a slider primary with max break. He always has great control, and he's going to have sinker cutter with great break as well. So he's a sneaky good pick for the end of your bullpen. I think he's maybe top 5, top 6, top 7 right-handed relievers in the game the second he drops. Don't let the overall fool you. I know some of you guys are addicted to velocity as well, but we really need more finesse pitchers. Sergio Romo is just always really nice on this game. He's kind of like a right-handed John Franco, but better, if that makes sense, because he has a cutter. So clear choice for me out of the 150 star pack is Sergio Romo. Don't get me wrong, Matt Carpenter has an amazing swing. He could have his place on some teams, and I imagine Mark Buehrle is just going to be terrible. I'm going to be honest with you guys, but it's a really low-cost Signature Series to help with the collection, so we got to appreciate that for what it is. Now let's get into the juicy stuff, the 3 bosses. So they are Walter Johnson, Signature Series, Bryce Harper, MVP, and Prime Frank Thomas. This is a really tough program to give y'all advice on who to take because depending on your skill level, Walter Johnson is really good or really bad, which I'll talk about, and depending on where your roster's at, the other 2 choices are at very deep positions and debatably worse than options we already have in the game. I'm gonna do my best, but stick with me. Remember, these are just my opinions. You are free to disagree with me. I'm just trying to give you guys my initial evaluation on these cards to maybe help you all make a decision. So obviously we see 99 Walter Johnson here, the duplicate Sig from last year. He does have 4-seam sinker, curveball, and changeup. This is another card kind of like Nolan Ryan. They mentioned it on stream. In my opinion, these cards are really good against bad hitters and really bad against good hitters. So I personally am going to be staying far away from this card. This card is honestly bait. Last year I thought he was going to be amazing. He got absolutely destroyed by every top player I threw him against. So I'm staying far away. However, if you play below 700, maybe even below 900 consistently, this is one of those cards that could give you a get out of jail free win. This is a concept I talk about sometimes where if you run into an opponent, if you queue into a match against someone who literally just cannot hit 102, it's just a free win. right? So he has that factor with the outlier, that if someone can't handle the velocity, he's just going to dominate. But like I said, in general, bad against good players, good against bad players. I will not be getting him. I am very frustrated that they keep giving these guys duplicate outliers as well, or double outliers. This card does have outlier on his four seam and sinker. That does make the card worse than if it was just on the four seam. So yeah, his sinker is going to be about 99, but last year his sinker had hardly any movement whatsoever. It was pretty much a two-seamer, and his fastball is going to hit 102 with the outlier. He's basically got two speeds. He's pretty much Nolan Ryan. I think if you wanted to take Walter Johnson, you may just look at picking up Nolan Ryan, and I think they're both bad in my opinion, although Walter Johnson does have better control. At the end of the day, it's just really easy to read this card. It's either fast or it's not. The curveball and changeup both have very noticeable humps out of the hand when they're thrown on this game, and yeah, I don't think he's very good. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. For me, if you, like I said, if you play against someone who just can't hit him, he's probably going to pitch a complete game shutout. Should be noted as well that he does have one of the slowest windups in the game, so there's a bit of a tilt factor for both you and your opponent. I have noticed in years past with Walter Johnson that if people aren't hitting this card right away, they do get kind of frustrated because it's basically a 5-second timer between when you start your windup and when you throw the ball. So it takes forever. He's much quicker out of the stretch, obviously, but his windup is really, really long. If you pitch with meter or analog, this could be really frustrating to pitch with as well because you're just waiting to hit your spot every single pitch. So I'm giving a really negative review on Walter Johnson, but I'm trying to warn you guys, this card is not as good as he looks on paper. In my opinion, this card is bait, and he's not going to go anywhere near my rotation. Next up, a little bit more exciting option is Prime Frank Thomas. They did not actually duplicate his signature series from last year, but the attributes are pretty close. Keep in mind, if you prestige this card, he will get up to 60 fielding, which will give him bronze defense at first instead of common. How big of a deal is that? I don't really know, but it's a thing. Obviously, Big Frank is an amazing hitter. He was an in-game first baseman from day one last year. He was an XP reward. Basically held down first base for most competitive teams for a very long time last year. I always preach about having attributes versus righties, but this card's a bit of an exception because he will have perfect attributes versus lefties when he gets his shot, and his swing is so good, he can really hit bombs against righties anyway. 109, 104 is still really not that bad. I think he's a really good card. Keep in mind, he does get auto shifted as well, so people are going to be shifting you if there's no one on base, and he is a pretty traditional pull hitter, so you may have some trouble getting on base if there's no one on ahead of you. Not really a whole lot to say about this card, honestly. His swing is amazing. I love him. I'm gonna be using him. I'll probably be buying him if I don't pick him. At the end of the day, he does play a really deep position. Most people that are playing this game competitively are gonna have Babe Ruth and or Stan Musial at this point, and or someone else like Jim Thome for first base, so it's just really tough. I think he's probably one of the best first basemen in the game. You could make that argument. It's just I don't know how much better marginally he is compared to other options we have, so you'll have to make that decision for yourself. But don't get me wrong, Frank's swing makes him play way above his attributes, and his attributes against lefties are already perfect, so really sick card. Your third choice for the program is this MVP Bryce Harper, which I think I'm a little disappointed in his attributes, although he still does amazing versus righties as he should. 116, 125 versus right is absolutely no joke, but his attributes against lefties much lower. I do like that he has higher contact and power. I would prefer that over the other way around this year, and pretty average defense, which makes sense because I think he had a 0.1 defensive WAR this year that he won MVP, so this card's tough as well. He's at a very deep position that has gotten a lot of options very recently. We've gotten Larry Walker, we've gotten Babe Ruth once again, who a lot of people have that play competitively. We've got Stan Musial if you want to play him in right field, so this card is in a tough spot because he's in such a deep position and he brings very average defense and very above average hitting against lefties. Now, me personally, this is gonna be my choice for the program. Now, why is it gonna be my choice? You guys always know I preach about attributes versus righties. You are going to face right-handed pitching more often than you're gonna face left-handed pitching on this game, and this is going to be emphasized by the fact that they just nerfed bringing starters out of the bullpen. In addition to a lot of the great pitchers in the meta right now, Kluber, Wood, Hershiser, Maddox, a lot of them are right-handed, so I think you are going to get more than your fair share of at-bats versus righties with this card, and with those attributes and the swing that Bryce Harper has, it's going to be nuts. Every MVP Harper, every good Harper card that has been released in years past has had a pretty much perfect swing. His swing is so incredible on this game. He's the king of hitting bombs swinging early. He's the king of hitting bombs swinging good, but your PCI is not even touching the ball. This guy's swing is crazy. Now, I understand some of you have Larry Walker in right field. This card is going to play play significantly worse defense than Larry Walker. Card is going to hit lefties probably worse than Larry Walker, although the drop-off specifically with lefties is not as bad as you might think. And if you have Babe Ruth in the outfield, that's a decision you have to make as well. Maybe you slide Babe Ruth to first base, maybe you slide Babe Ruth to left field, something like that. For me, Harper's gonna find a spot. This is my choice. When I first sat down to make this video, I didn't really know if I was going to choose Frank or Harper, but the more I've thought about it, I think Harper is the clear choice in my opinion. I just can't describe how good his swing is to you guys. He's gonna somehow play above his attributes, even though they're pretty much maxed versus righties. And like I said, you're gonna be facing righties so much. He will play pretty mediocre defense, although I do like the 74 speed. It will help. Unfortunately, he does not hit many meaningful thresholds by being prestiged, although I imagine his prestige program is going to be very tough to do anyway. He will get up to 98 arm strength. Overall, try to look past the defense, try to look past the attributes versus lefties. 75% of the time, you're going to be hitting with one of the best swings in the game with almost maxed out attributes versus right-handed pitching. Like I said, this is my choice. Frank is a very close second for me. Don't get me wrong, that card is really good, but I'm going to slide Babe Ruth to first base, as I'm sure a lot of others will, and this card's going to be playing right field for me. Should also be noted that you could put Harper in left field and he maintains silver defense. He has 75 fielding, which is the exact cutoff. So if you were to play him in a secondary position in left field, he will still have the silver shield, which is a big deal. He doesn't drop down to bronze. So if you want to run something like Bryce Harper and Larry Walker, definitely keep Walker in right field so he keeps his diamond shield and slide Harper over to left. Same with Babe Ruth, who also has 75 defense. Also, I gotta bring this up every time I see it. This card has 125 discipline. The discipline attribute affects how often you're called for strikes when you check swing. So basically every time you check swing with this Bryce Harper, it's gonna get called for a ball unless you're power swinging or something. So that's actually more valuable than you would think it is. One last thing I want to touch on before I end the video too is the excitement factor of using these cards, right? I know Frank Thomas, a lot of people have great memories from last year. They're going to want to use him to rekindle those memories. Same with Bryce Harper in previous years, or if you're just a Nationals or White Sox fan. Walter Johnson doesn't really have that factor, and maybe that's another reason why I've been dogging on him so much in this video. And if you're a big Walter Johnson fan, I'm sorry, but it would suck to get to 300 stars, take Walter Johnson out of the pack, and then not even enjoy using him. You know what I mean? The long windup, there's no emotional, personal connection to this guy because he played so long ago. These are just factors that you got to keep in mind that I wanted to bring up that don't even involve how good the card is at all. It would just suck to hit 300 stars, take Walter Johnson, he gets blown up in like 3 straight starts and you don't even like the guy. So it should be mentioned, Frank Thomas and Bryce Harper are really cool. They'll probably add to your fun factor. I don't know how much Walter Johnson adds to your fun factor. So that's gonna wrap it up for the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know down in the comments section below who you're going to take in this program and why. I would love to hear your input because it is a pretty tough decision this time around. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more MLB The Show 20 content and drop a like. Helps me out a ton. And if you have any questions at all about what I went over in this video, feel free to drop a comment down below. I will do my best to reply to you in a timely manner. With that being said, I appreciate you guys sticking to the end. Thanks so much for your love and support this year. Enjoy your grind in the 7th inning program, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.